all I'm going to say.
I learned anything from college.
Be like, dude, you talking about slaughtering a village has made me fucking Niagara Falls in my crotch. Let's do this right now. But
Way to start
And
us
that's
off,
how
Joe.
we start the show.
And action.
I gotta figure out After Effects so I could have it like
Can you fart or can you belch with reverb?
I can't. My nephew could belch so loud. Like he could belch louder than I can scream. It's superpower. It's like one of those mutants in one of those weird X-Men comics. They needed just to fill a special role to knock down some boulders.
Yep.
He's crazy. Hey everyone. Welcome to Watching This Again. My name is Joe Johnson, and this is my unnamed podcast. Eventually I'll have a name for something, but currently I don't.
Don't bother.
With me is Aaron Breakbach. He used to own a mini truck.
I did.
Did.
It was badass.
It wasn't.
They never are.
And also with me, new to the show, is Zeb Stanbro. And he owns a Dodge Stratus. And you can Google an SNL skit where Will Ferrell yells that the entire thing. And it's kind of fun. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit today, whenever the fuck you're listening to this thing, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to change topics from the car stuff and go into more of the random shit direction. And we're going to go back in time, some 40 years, 50 years, however old it is. I'm old. And to May of 1977. People are flocking to the movie theater to see a wonderful spectacle that will change humanity. But we're not going to talk about Smokey and the Bandit. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Every week I have to drive about 200 miles, 100 miles one way, 100 miles back. So I think of a lot of random shit. And the last week I was driving and I was thinking, Star Wars is dog shit. Is it? And legitimately, I couldn't answer the question. So Aaron is a bit of a geek, and Zeb is a bit of a geek, and I am a closeted geek. I come from an era where you didn't admit geekdom, so you would be throwing stones at the person you just watched a movie with when somebody caught you leaving the movie with them. I was one of them guys. And kind of talk about the movies as they came out. We're not going to touch base on really the extended universe too much from the, what is it now called, Legends?
Legends would be the ones that were taken out of canon, yes.
Yeah. And then quickly replaced with the dog shit that Disney's shoveling in. And that's where a lot of the negativity comes in. So we're going to kind of discuss each movie briefly, maybe extend on a little bit depending on the movie, and go from there. So let's start this off with episode 1. Almost threw up in my mouth trying to say it. Phantom Menace.
It's that bad. That is a perfect excuse for that movie. It is such bad. You might as well just throw up in your mouth and then have to swallow it again because it's something you love.
No,
even my 10-year-old son, who has watched it once, maybe twice over the course of the last, several years of his life, even he admits like it sucks. And that one was made for kids.
It was made for kids, but it was made for kids that didn't speak the language the movie was in and had never seen a movie and had never been entertained by anything ever. Because it was terrible. Right. I think Jar Jar Binks gets too much of the bad. He's the lightning rod for the bullshit of the movie. Like, just, hey, look, this probably very racist character is doing all this shit. Yeah, like the whole everybody's like the super Asian trade confederation that all of a sudden now talks like a 1950s Hollywood Chinaman. What the fuck is that about? Just terrible. Like everything about it's terrible. Do you remember when you laughed when the two-headed announcer was arguing with itself in the pod race? Wasn't that cool?
No, I don't remember laughing at that actually.
Yeah, no, it was dog shit.
I no, nothing. I don't remember laughing at anything in that movie too much. Other than the fact I was a little creeped out by a few things in that movie. If you want to talk about that,
You didn't.
and I think
You didn't laugh when Jar Jar Binks stepped in a pile of poop in Mos Eisley?
yeah, I'm not a big pooper.
Poop.
There are times
it
where
a
poop
bag?
is funny. A lot of times where poop is funny. That wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Like watching a hippopotamus poop. That's funny.
Yeah, watching a hippopotamus poop, that's funny. Watching a German guy poop on a glass table. Funny.
Yeah.
Probably the funniest thing the German guy's done all day.
Or a little arousing, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I
Just
also
saying, it can swing both ways.
While you're talking, sometimes about the thing you're talking, so you can guess what you just read under Zeb right there.
Hey.
But yeah, it's like, is there any redeeming quality to the movie?
Yes. There's
What?
one. It's the Sith.
But he's not even good.
It's the only thing.
Not even in it that long. You know, Ewan McGregor tried really hard. I'll give him that.
He tried. Everybody tried. Like he
tried probably harder than most.
I don't like the bad acting thing with Star Wars because it's just terrible. Like the dialogue is terrible. Like how can you say Liam Neeson's a hell of a good actor? Not recently, but in the past, and he couldn't pull off any lines. Like Samuel L. Jackson couldn't even pull off the angry guy because his lines were written. Like it was terrible. I tried to rewatch that one recently just because I forgot how shitty it was, and I couldn't. Like it's just awful. Darth Maul got a lot of press. He was the cool toy.
Yep.
Sucked.
What was his name? Not Ray Park.
Yeah,
that's
Ray
right.
Parker.
Yeah.
Parker Brothers.
I always confuse him with Ray Park Jr.
I was
didn't
thinking Ray Park Jr.
Didn't he do the song for Ghostbusters?
Yeah, who was that guy? Let's see. It is. I've got the internet, and the cast is way at the bottom, apparently. Ahmed Best is Jar Jar Binks. I don't think he did anything ever again. Yeah, Ray Park was Darth Maul. And he didn't even voice Darth Maul. Another guy.
The father of the guy that did the Ghostbusters song.
Yeah. You know, the Ghostbusters guy didn't make any money on that.
I heard that.
Why is that?
Who's the guy that did the Back to the Future stuff? The guy with the big dick?
Huey Lewis?
Huey Lewis sued him because it was too close to one of his songs and won. So that massive Ghostbuster hit. Nothing. Yeah, he was a shitty bad guy. He shows up, flies over a kid, has a sword fight that doesn't do anything, and then stands in the background and then has another sword fight, kills the old guy, and then dies himself. But
he doesn't die.
But he doesn't.
We won't go into that right now, though.
He doesn't die. But I will say that he adds literally nothing to the story other than the fact that he kills the guy that's not signed up for the next movie.
Right.
Like we can't know Liam Neeson's going to be good, so let's not sign him up for 2 movies.
Well, he did the other thing because when he got cut in half, they splattered blood, and that was the first time human blood or anything had been shown in the Star Wars universe, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was a big deal, but it's a big deal.
There was an uncut scene from A New Hope where Princess Leia needed maxi pads from the store. And
what happened to you wear the white gown?
Yeah, her all white costume was all screwed up, but that was uncut, not official canon. So we're gonna avoid that one. But yeah, it's all policy and procedure. It's terrible.
Mhm.
I do think, and we'll go to the second one here in a second, but I do think the first, second, and third movies would have made much better HBO movies or series. Like do like a Game of Thrones, 7 or 8
Yeah.
seasons, explain the bullshit in boring episodes, and then have 1 or 2 not boring episodes instead of 3 hours of nerds sitting there waiting for something to happen. And it's like, well, the parliamentary procedure of the Republic
Trade
Senate
embargo
doesn't
and-
allow us to have a quorum of less than 2/3 majority.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, the very first movie, I watched it here a couple years ago when the new Star Wars films started coming out. I was like, hey, let's watch them all with my family. That the kids introduced them to them. And I will say this as an overall, the first movie is such dog shit that it spreads out to the other 2 movies, which are actually, if you ignore the first one, in my opinion, aren't as
Mhm.
bad as people remember. Because I went back and watched them. I'm like, they're a lot too bad. It's that first one is so bad. It just leaves such a terrible taste in your mouth.
It really doesn't
Yeah.
bring anything to the story.
No.
I mean, you get to meet child Anakin, so you see where he came from on a planet. That's it. Because then it fast forwards to he's a teenager, and he's still a good guy. It's like, okay, well, we could have just started here, and that's why I guess the machete order, they just cut it out.
Yeah, like the best way supposedly to watch these is they remove it, because it also does a couple of things. One, midi-chlorians.
Oh yeah.
Dumb idea.
God.
Two,
Don't need them.
let's introduce like an 8-year-old kid to like a 14, 15-year-old girl, and then they're gonna fuck later. Like that's creepy as shit, dude. Like you can't do that. Maybe in Star Wars land that's a thing, but in humanity or in America that's not really a thing.
Is that Star Wars Thailand?
What's that?
Is that Star Wars Thailand? Is that Star Wars Thailand? Is that where that happens?
It could be. Yeah, Tatooine is their Thailand.
Except that it would have been Qui-Gon Jinn having sex with the 8-year-old boy. So
I'm sure a Qui-Gon Jinn has had sex with me. Not that one, but another one. Yeah, and then it brought up the fact that he was this prophecy to bring balance to the Force. Now, I only seen the movie once or twice, but did I miss a couple of hundred Sith running around? Because there was a couple hundred Jedi and 2 Sith. So
that's a valid argument that has come up many times. Is that it was unbalanced to the light side of the Force, so he came in, and that was what nobody realized was he was going to balance it by wiping everybody out.
But literally, if because I haven't seen. I should say the first time I seen the non-puppet Yoda one was like a week ago. But stoned Yoda would have never got that. Like puppet stoned Yoda, the original when they tried to slip it.
The episode 1 original Yoda, the terrifying one.
He was just gacked out of his fucking mind. But literally nobody was like, dude, if he brings balance, there's only one way that needle can fall. It's gonna go us down. Maybe we should just murder this kid or leave him in slavery. How about that? We left his mom in slavery. Let's just leave the kid there too, and we'll pick up the pieces some other time. Yeah. So if you had to grade this 1 to 10, what would you grade this piece of shit?
Which is good, which is bad?
Yeah.
1 is this movie.
Okay, there we go. Done.
Is there a 0? I'm going to ask officially, is there a 0?
There isn't, because you can't divide by 0.
So bad. And all those issues are terrible about it. You got, the midichlorian stuff makes no sense. The whole balance, I mean, that's a very simple, valid argument, what's going on. It doesn't make so much of this movie wreck the stuff that he built up when he made the originals, the original trilogy. It's like, I'm going to backfill this. Why? That doesn't need to be. No one asked for those questions to be answered.
You know why prequels don't work? Because we knew fucking Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader the second we met him. Like, we knew it wasn't going to end up good.
Right.
The story. it's not like for a second you worry about Obi-Wan Kenobi getting killed because, spoiler alert, he's in episode 4.
Well, and that's where, jumping right into episode 2, because all anybody wants is to see how did he turn bad. We don't care about the 8-year-old Anakin that, what does that bring to it?
Yeah, literally no one cares about pre-pube Anakin. He can't be evil unless he's like super evil pre-pube Anakin.
Unless he's like freaking Damien.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In which case, that would be an awesome movie.
Fuck yes, it would. Like little kid Anakin going around force choking people because they're not giving him shit. Like that's the movie, and then the Jedi try to save him and point him in the right direction.
There's a great movie right there.
Because they bring up in canon that you can't just cold-blooded murder a kid because he's naughty. So they have to try. They have to try to steer him in the right direction.
Right.
And then they all get murdered. Yeah.
Yep.
So what would you give this movie?
That's definitely at the 1 then.
All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, no more than a 1.
1s across the board. On to episode 2, the attack of the copy and pastes. This movie is almost as bad.
Yeah.
Like if you sit and watch the movie and you take your fan glasses off, because unfortunately 7, 8, and 9 kind of ripped those fan glasses off and shoved them in my ass. You could look and be like, this movie's stupid. So it starts off them trying to kill the queen that's now a senator but still has a queen thing, and then they blow up her like bodyguard. They could have just blown the ship up. They got a fucking bomb. Blow it up before it lands. It crashes. That's what things do when they blow up into space. They crash. And then they try to kill her with like beetles or something, like salamanders or some kind of bug. Come on.
Assassins.
That an assassin that hires another assassin when the original assassin had a fucking rocket in his backpack.
It's called subcontracting the work out. Haven't you had contract dealings before? You don't do that work for yourself. You take the at least 10% off the top. You hire somebody else to do it. Your hands are clean. It's how you make a profit, Joe. You run a business.
We all know Django doesn't want to fill out 1099 forms. That's why he killed that lady.
True.
But at the same time, he could have just literally just took the same bomb and put it on that whatever droid that Obi-Wan Kenobi took a joyride on and blown the whole building up and ended the movie. End. But you knew that wasn't going to happen because there's an episode 4 and Luke Skywalker was in it. It's in order for Luke to be in it. Queen Amidala has to survive the salamander attack. Riveting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have many redeeming words for episode 2. I'm trying to think back through, and it's like, okay, yeah, the introduction of the clones, I guess that's something.
Introduction of Django and Boba.
Yep.
I mean, that they bring those two in, see what their little background might be. Not
Right.
a lot, but a little.
Which the Mandalorian ended up explaining way better than this anyway.
Yeah, we're not talking about that tonight. That's an amazing show. We're gonna leave it be.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to go off of what you had at the time, but if you watch it too, the interactions with Boba Fett really kind of wrecked Boba Fett as a character too, because you don't want to see Boba Fett as a kid.
Well, it goes back to seeing Anakin as a kid. I don't want to see Boba Fett as a kid either.
Boba Fett's a dude that literally says like 4 lines, but he's the baddest motherfucker in the movie.
Right.
Because he says 4 lines and Darth Vader talks to him directly like, hey, I told you not to kill anybody, so you in particular are the only guy who's going to do this. Don't kill anybody.
Right. Which then he falls in the frickin' Sarlacc pit, but whatever.
Yeah. A dude with a jetpack dies in a vagina in the desert. Like, I don't get it either.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we'll get to that bit of awesomeness in a bit. But then they go and he goes and somehow has sex with this girl who's legitimately creeped out with him from the moment they re-meet until they have sex. Like there's some
Jedi mind tricks.
Literally, there has to be, because if you watch that show, I've seen people give girls that look of that.
Right as they're dropping a roofie in their drink.
Yeah, it's like, here, have this
Jedi mind trick.
have this cloudy martini. And that had to have been the case. And then he has a bad dream and goes to kill a bunch of people, but arrives just before his mom dies, because you have to have the death scene so his mom can feel okay and he can feel really bad. But then he come back and feels all like mopey about killing people. It's like, dude, that was the opportunity they should have took him in the direction of, that felt fucking good.
Yep.
Dude, did you see how powerful I was? I totally wasted that entire village. Obi-Wan couldn't have done that. I murdered everyone there.
They should have gone with, like, you know, the true life serial killer thing. Like the first time they kill somebody and they come in their pants and they're like, wow, hey.
I never thought it would happen to me.
Anakin jizzes in his robe as he's slaughtering a bunch of sand people.
Yeah, they play that Tiny Tim song and everybody's having a wonderful time. Laughing people.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
He's using the Force to put their limbs in piles, like sorting their limbs and shit. Like, that's like, they could have used that opportunity to make him, oh, I see why he went Darth Vader, because that gave him a lot of power and he's power hungry.
Right.
But instead he went home and cried to the lady he's trying to sleep with that I just murdered a family. And then somehow that makes her sleep with him.
Women are strange. That's all I'm going to say. Yep. I don't understand them. Women are strange folk.
Yeah, I mean, I've murdered.
They cry guaranteed into their pants.
I mean, I am lucky to be married. That's all I'm going to say.
I learned anything from college.
Be like, dude, you talking about slaughtering a village has made me fucking Niagara Falls in my crotch. Let's do this right now.
You know, the whole third movie should have been him just picking up ladies with that. You know, I'm going to go kill some people and just trying to get some action.
Yeah. What's up, bitch? I slaughtered a
village. And that's why he's in the mask, because he's got a bunch of STDs now. He's just been sleeping his way across the universe, just banging everybody.
Yeah, he's just
sores from syphilis everywhere.
He's syphilis and chlamydia, just using it. So then they go from the improbable sex scene to fighting in a robot planet or in a robot like factory. But not like a futuristic robot factory, like a 1940s, we're stamping out parts for the military robot factory.
Yeah.
That has the appropriately sized, people-sized platforms to jump on. Like, they designed it for a video game and that shit. We need 20 more minutes in this movie. Put that in there. And then a bunch of Jedi fight a bunch of CGI things and win because they're robots that fall apart. And then, you know, you hear Fortunate Son, Yoda comes flying in with the clones, and it's the end of the movie. And Jango Fett gets his head lopped off.
Sums it up.
That's about it.
All right.
And then this kid holds his head and stares at it.
He holds his helmet. There's no evidence his head was still in there.
His head was in there, right?
Does he get it? You ever see Boba Fett with a chin strap? No. As soon as that head is cut off.
Hold on, let me get his helmet out.
You just pick up the helmet and be like, oh shit, this is way lighter than I. Oh, that's unfortunate. Old Daddy Django is going to have a close casket funeral. Is there anything else in this movie that even is noteworthy?
No, that one is probably the most forgettable of most of the movies. Because
for the Death Star. Plans for the Death Star.
I know, but that's honestly, when you think back to it, like there's no real memorable, not any hugely memorable scenes. Maybe the introduction of the clones, that's cool, but outside of that, episode 1 was so bad and episode 3 was so okay that this one just gets lost in the mix. It becomes forgotten.
You know what I think it is? I think the prequels are better movies, are like the parts left out of the movies we wanted to see.
Yeah.
So episode 1, it's this random guy who probably is Palpatine and his spiky head friend. They're the bad guys.
Yep.
Episode 2, it's Count Dooku. We ain't never met this guy. They just bring him up in the credits, and all of a sudden we're supposed to act like he's now the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Lee does a great job in everything Christopher Lee does because he's Christopher Lee. But they used him for 5 minutes, and they had a fight scene, and he cut off a limb because that's what happens. And then they leave. And then in the next movie, spoiler alert, he dies in 5 minutes. They don't use him for anything else. Like, he's not a bat. They could have made something out of his character and then been like, surprise, bitches, it's Sidious. I got laser fingers. But they didn't. They used this guy just to have something in the credits. Apparently counts are now a thing in the Star Wars universe as of episode 2.
Well, I mean, that's a whole problem with the whole in general, as for whole Star Wars, or at least the, post stuff, the last trilogy there, they had an issue with bad guys. They not very many movies do bad guys well to set something up and make them do the whole course of a series. I mean, I'm trying to think of any movie in the original Star Wars trilogy is the only one that really did that. You had Darth Vader, and he made it all the way through as the bad guy up until the end. They didn't do that at all in the prequel trilogies. They there's this maybe master that we're not really tell you about who might be Palpatine, and they didn't do anything with it. They didn't do it right
because they couldn't. Because the other guy was never brought up in any of the other movies that were already made 30 years ago, which is a problem with prequels. And so, they could have, if they had foresight, I think part of the problem these movies had is one's written, and then a bunch of cocaine was done, and then another one was written, and then they tried to fit the pieces together, but didn't try that hard. Because they just knew they had to get Anakin from little white kid to big black suit. That's it. It's I give it a 3.
2.5.
I was gonna say, I'd say a 3 is fair.
2.5. I mean,
I'm skipping the 2 just because it makes the cut for the machete order.
Yeah, and at least with this movie, I could see where it could have been good. Yeah, they could have made some changes, not had any one of these movies. Somebody would have said, "George, that's fucking stupid." Maybe better movies, but you don't know because George Lucas was George Lucas, and it's his shit. He can do whatever he wants, but they're hard to watch. On to episode 3. Now we're getting built up. 3 years has passed. We know Darth Vader's in this one. We know because there's not another one coming.
So you just go from here to episode 4.
Starts out, the crawl explains some shit that probably wasn't explained in the last movie, and then there's this giant space battle. Don't care. The only people that matter are 2 Jedi and the little starships. Everybody else, who gives a fuck? They're gonna die. And then they land on
R2D2.
Yeah, an R2.
Yeah.
Who is somehow makes it through every movie and is in every single scene that's pivotal in this entire universe.
Well, without him, you can't everything. You just don't have everything. The magic. He fixes everything right when you need it.
Well, it's part of the problem with these movies is he made the universe so small. Like Anakin made C-3PO.
Oh no, that was dumb. That was bad. That was a super bad decision, in my opinion. That is. We didn't even talk about that. I mean, yeah, he made him. Why? Why did that need to have that intertwined like that?
Yeah.
C-3PO should have just been, the android that is fine when they. Yeah, no.
Right. And how many mind wipes has he gone through to not remember anything?
Anakin Skywalker, Slave Skywalker made C-3PO and then was sold to Uncle Skywalker.
And C-3PO has basically been a slave the whole time.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't have rights. They're just droids, not androids,
right.
Droids. And R2D2 is so special that he saved Queen of Naboo. Like the very first thing he did on screen was all the other droid units are getting blasted off the ship. He saves the day and gets like a pat on the head from the Queen. And then it was obviously like Princess Leia's personal fucking robot because she's the one that gave him the plans to go save the Death Star. And then she's just like, fuck you. You belong to Luke now. Hop in his X-Wing and go blow up a Death Star. Like, we got 100 of you, but take my special droid and get the fuck out of here. And then he's Luke's for the rest of time. It really doesn't seem much bonding between humans and robots.
No.
That's why they're going to unionize. I swear. If they do another trilogy, it's going to be the robots, finally,
the robot uprising.
Yes, it's going to be, they're going to unionize. They're going to start being collective. Eventually we may get the Borg out of it, to throw in the Star Trek reference.
Yeah. And then they go back in time and travel through a wormhole and they're in the Federation.
Exactly. Alternate reality universe, multiverse.
Yeah. But so they Jedi's board the ship. A bunch of unlikely stuff happens. They meet Count Dooku. Obi-Wan falls or something. Darth Vader or Anakin
chops off his head.
Chops off his hand and then cuts off his hand because an old guy says do it. And he's like, oh, shucks. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. And then they crash the ship into a planet while people are trying to put the fire out. And that's the start of the movie. It didn't leave you feeling like this was going to be much of an improvement of the last two because it was just it's like, look, Mom, I got CGI. Yeah. And I can't even remember what happened after that. More politics?
General Grievous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got a new bad guy. He's so bad we didn't talk about him in the last movie because there wasn't time, but he's a real bad guy.
But he made it into the cartoon, so he's a thing.
He did make it into the cartoon, and they actually gave him a backstory instead of just, hey, here's a wheezing, coughing robot.
Why is he wheezing and coughing? Yeah.
And
he's not a robot.
Yeah, like the cartoons, because it's in like a longer series.
Long format, yeah.
They made Samuel L. Jackson's character, I can't think of his name right now because I'm stupid.
Mace Windu.
Yeah. They made him like actually respectable. Like, oh, that's why people respect him because he's strong as shit. They give General Grievous a backstory that's not just a robot that got hooked on marbles. Like they do things with characters that because they have to. They can't just invent a new character every week. And General Grievous was the classic villain of the week, like the old Star Trek stuff. Like every movie's got a villain of the week in the earlier ones. And Obi-Wan kills him on a dinosaur or something. Like he rides a dinosaur, which is just fucking stupid. It's fucking Star Wars. You got speeder bikes and shit. Like I know Luke rode a Tauntaun in Empire Strikes Back, and that was like, oh, I see. You're calling back to them riding animals because his spaceship was too cold or something. I don't know how that worked, but Obi-Wan didn't need to ride a fucking lizard. He had stormtroopers with him. He could have brought like a motorbike or moped or something.
Stormtroopers are a step up from droids. He could have just rode the stormtroopers.
Yeah, literally. They're fucking clones. Clones don't have any rights either. The Jedi willingly threw them at robots to go and collect bullets. Like, that's literally their purpose. They were made to go accept.
You're a manufactured living thing.
Yeah, we made you. Now go and die so that us with the bright shiny laser swords don't die.
Hey, you've seen Blade Runner. It's the same thing. They're just making people the disposable to work in the terrible factories and mines to go where I don't want to go. Yep. I have rights. You don't.
Was this Commander Cody in this one, or was that episode 2? That was this one.
He might have been in episode 2 too, but he wasn't in this one because he turned on Obi-Wan and shot his dinosaur.
Yeah.
And then they fell from 500 stores, and they're like, "Well, no way a Jedi's surviving that. Let's go, boys." As the fucking guys jumping around on the rafters and shit. Jedi were really overpowered in the first one. Well, I should say 3 Jedi were overpowered with plot armor. Everybody else was literally killed by the simplest people that killed nothing else in the series. So let's see. He rides a dinosaur, kills General Grievous. Oh yeah. After he killed General Grievous, they were going to be like, well, I guess the war is over now. So the senators had got to give up his special superpowers. Like, that was what they were waiting for, to give Palpatine the thing. So him and Anakin's like, I think Palpatine's a bad guy. And Mace Windu's like, brah, really? Okay, let's go call him out. He doesn't need his powers anymore. So it is tradition in a Senate to, in the middle of the night, go and take someone's emergency powers away, because that's prudent. So they go into his room, and Mace Windu almost kills him. And Anakin, who's been pretty much a good guy the entire movie series, is still a good guy. He said, "No, Mace, we can't kill this guy. This guy is a bad Sith. He's a bad guy. It's against the Jedi code to kill him." Mace is like, "Dude, we got to kill him. He's a bad guy. We got to kill him." Anakin's like, "No." And the Emperor's like, "Yeah, fuck you." And blasts him out the window. Kills him. Mm-hmm. And because of that, Anakin Skywalker goes to a school and murders a bunch of children. That leap in like the 30 seconds on screen, it was like, well, I guess he's dead. Hey, boss, you need some kids killed? Because I'm your dude.
I'm sorry. The memes that get created, though, off of basically, Anakin Skywalker killing little kids is amazing. I mean, there's a whole subculture that direct and make nice memes out of that. I'm just saying.
All of them but one.
Yeah, and I don't even, and I don't even mind the fact that he went and murdered children. Like, this is an anti-murdering children podcast. We love murdering children. The problem is when he went from literally, this is the Jedi code, I will not break this and let you, my master, break this to kill this really bad guy, to kneeling before him and murdering a school full of killed kids. Like, the entire time, it goes back to the episode 2 thing where he murdered a village, and if they'd have went with that, holy shit, I was powerful, and I got more powerful every person I killed. Like, I unleashed my anger. This is great. And then episode 3 rolls around, and he unleashes his anger and saves the Jedi's doing bad. I'm going to save the Emperor and use my anger and kill Mace Windu. But I got to get stronger because Yoda's out there and my wife's going to die because of a dream or something. So I need to get stronger. So I'm going to
die
kill
from a broken heart
fucker I can find.
Right. Space herpes.
Become
Space
the strongest. Herpes. Yeah. She's got midichlorian herpes.
Hey, it could be a thing.
Midichlorian just sounds like it could be an STD.
Yeah, it's cured with an antibiotic. They didn't have them back in them days. That was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
But they just removed, like, the plot was so poorly written that you could go from good, like gooder than the good guy, to murdering a school full of kids. Yeah. 2 minutes of screen time. That's That was the jump. And then he got yellow eyes for some reason for one scene.
Oh.
Jaundice.
Yeah, like his liver stopped working from all the chlamydia. Or what's the one that attacks the liver? Is it gonorrhea? One of them, I'm pretty sure does. It's the one I don't have.
One.
My liver works fine. But yeah, then he goes and kills the Asians who are no longer Asians anymore. Like they in episode 2, I think they de-Asianed them. But then he murders all of them, and they're like, "Hey, dude, why are you killing us?" He's like, I'm evil now, brah. The guy who's been evil that you've been talking to, that's super evil, that's obviously evil with the you can't see my face and I'm just saying everything evilly. Yeah, he's evil. And now I'm killing you for it. And then Obi-Wan hides on a spaceship or something while his baby mama comes and meets him. And then he chokes a bitch and has a fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi over a lava field. Because a lightsaber battle isn't drama enough. You have to be on fucking floating platforms on a lava field.
Yep.
Or falling down buildings in lava. Or like, I'm not a Zeb, you're a you're a civil engineer. Would you recommend building a large factory on a volcano? Because I think
is it a tourist attraction? I mean, I'm trying to figure out the appeal here. Is it like Joe versus the volcano? Yeah. Am I having people jump into it?
My guess is with that much lava, there's probably major seismic activity.
I mean, you could do it. It's just, I'm just trying to figure out why you would do it and if there's any, money to be made. I mean, to be honestly, that whole fight scene to me feels like the end stage of any video game you're playing. It's like, okay, I got to kill this guy, but now I also have to time my jumps to these platforms. If I do, Metroid's going to die and I'm just going to lose it. Or Mega Man style this thing. It's got to be super difficult all the time. It's the last guy. Oh no, if I get hit once, I'm dead. That's what that whole thing felt like.
Yeah, and it watches like that. Like it watches like we're trying to make a spectacle, not a fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it all ends when a dude stands on a hill 8 feet above another dude while they're floating over fucking lava.
Like I have the high ground.
He should have been like, I'm going to just park over there. It's 3 feet away, dude. I'm going to walk up the hill and we'll be even again. I'm on a floating thing. I'm hovering over lava. I can move 5 feet over and get off. I don't have to jump into your lightsaber. But he jumps in the lights.
How hot is it that far above lava?
I'm guessing like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, it's not. It's very hot.
Like, unless the atmosphere has different properties or the lava is like some element that melts at 12 degrees.
Yeah.
It's probably
rocks that melt at 100 degrees.
It's probably something that would have already burnt him to. That should have been how he turned to Darth Vader. He jumped on a platform to fight Obi-Wan Kenobi and he just burst into flames. He's like, oh shit, this is a dumb idea.
But that was kind of how it happened.
Yeah, I know. Well, he tried to jump over a guy standing on a hill.
Yeah.
That's how you get the bad guy. He cut off his other 3 limbs and then all his stumps rolled down the hill. And then he just yelled at Obi-Wan like, I hate you. But he yelled like Monica, my daughter, yells at me when I take away her iPad. And then Anakin or Obi-Wan reaches down, grabs his lightsaber, and watches the fucking guy burn to death. Like he literally just catches on fire right.
You were like a brother to me. Now I'm gonna watch you burn.
Yeah. You're like
can I have some marshmallows? I want to make some s'mores here. Can I flame over your body? Hey, can you roll over? I need some more heat.
Yeah.
Hey, too much flame. My marshmallow's gonna start a fire.
Like, especially with Star Wars having a history of bad guys falling, this definitely could have been a case where they had a fight. You want to have a CGI friendly area, and then have him fall.
Mm-hmm.
But he's Darth Vader and used the Force to keep himself alive because he's so angry that he can't die. But he's all burned to shit, and they save him. And in the extended universe, that was kind of the case where Obi-Wan Kenobi got back and was like, "Who's Darth Vader? Oh shit, Anakin's still alive. He survived that." And was kind of had this moment of, crap, I should have stabbed him in the face. But yeah, like Darth Vader's going to be pretty pissed. Like first dude brings his wife to his to a smash pad, makes him choke a bitch, and then leaves him to literally burn to death. Like the dude fucking turned into a hot dog right in front of him, and he didn't do anything. He didn't even have to touch him. Obi-Wan has the Force. He could have just been like, there you go, bro. You keep stomping out over there.
I never did anything for you.
Yeah, you literally have no legs or arms left, but I'm gonna leave you there. This doesn't look like this lava is not going to rise very much.
Well, you know who I blame out of this whole deal is realistically out of that whole platform and jumping around. I feel like OSHA totally missed the ball there with any of the safety features for people falling.
Well, the only thing I can think for that is it was the droid people's stuff, so they probably just sent droids in there to do everything. But like, the building melted in the lava. Why would you build something that would melt in lava on lava?
Well, he learned from that though, because then he built his castle there.
Yeah, which now somehow in like the third or the was it Last Jedi, it had like trees and shit. Like that was the same planet.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Mustafar had trees?
The one where Kylo Ren's chopping up the random indigenous peoples. That's that planet.
Oh shit.
Yeah. 90% sure.
Man, I thought Mustafar was just a lava planet.
Yeah, no, it cooled apparently. It had enough limbs in the lava to cool it down back to rock and grow some trees. But yeah, then it wraps up with a pregnant woman dying in childbirth, old Western style. Named her kids Luke and Leia. We needed that scene because we would have never guessed who the twins were. Like that would have been pretty amazing. LA Law got one, and then you got to hide these.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith sucks. Everything that has Jimmy Smith in it sucks. And this is just another example.
Yeah, he was in like the worst season of Dexter too.
Everything that Jimmy Smith's in sucks because he's like the casting call that like you don't want to get to. And then to hide one of these kids that they cannot be found, let's go to the only living relatives that you're even aware of in your uncle. That place that you brought your dead mom when you murdered that village of people.
Right.
That's where you're going to grow up. So, yeah, we'll hide him. I'm going to change my name to Ben Kenobi, because old Ben Kenobi and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and nobody will ever confuse us. And that's the prequel. So we have a Darth Vader now. We have a Luke. We have a Leia. We can imagine old Jimmy Smith's getting blown up on Alderaan. So that's now saddening. And Yoda went to Dagobah. And Chewie, who was apparently a pretty high-ranking fucking Wookiee, ended up in a bar.
Now a smuggler.
Yeah.
Nice. Job change. More money involved. There's more money. Instead of being, in high in the government, it's like, I could be running drugs as a smuggler. Sounds like a good career change.
Every time Han was like, shit, we're getting bored, and Chewie's like, his ass is going to get filled with some kind of spice. Just sit in the chair and don't get up no matter what they say. You hold it in better. So what would you guys give Revenge of the Sith? Because it really wasn't much of a revenge. I mean, they just killed all the people that were the good guys, but they really hadn't done much bad to them.
Order 666. I would say I give it a 4. That's it's, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's rose-colored glasses. I find it a little bit better, but it's not awesome. Because it's way better than 1. If you compare out of the first 3, the last one's a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's better.
Yeah, like when you have really bad diarrhea and that first one you have to push to get out, it's like, this is way better. It's still shit. It still sucks. I give it a 4 too.
Yeah, 4 is reasonable.
I applaud Natalie Portman for not just walking out on that movie, because every line she has is it sets females in science fiction back 30 years, because she's literally just the save me, I'm sad. Like, she offers nothing, and she was such a kick-ass potential character.
Yeah.
She did the movie The Professional with Leon that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, she had such potential, and she has done other stuff. It's just the way they treated the characters, like, oh, how'd you die? I'm sad, so I died.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's what the hell's that about?
and like it's been confirmed in either the canon or in George Lucas or something. Like the Emperor killed her to save Darth Vader. Like took her life force and did the whole thing to transfer over to Vader, and they didn't mention it.
Yes, yeah. Everybody's just left to believe she just died because of a broken heart.
Yeah, just sad because she had 2 kids and no father, and she's like, I can't handle 2 kids. I'm checking out.
I would buy that.
It's like, fuck this shit. I'm outie.
If my wife
Teenage
died, my
daughters.
kids will be orphans.
It's like, where's my lava planet? I'm going to the lava planet. Because that's where the baby daddy went. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to stay on my lava planet. You know who they don't give kids to? People that live on a fucking lava planet. Have some child support. By the way, I'm going to blow up your fucking planet. And now we are to episode 4.